There is absolutely zero doubt in my mind. Rachel Meghan Markle was a semi-expensive yacht girl, and she knows it.
Many of you have seen this picture already. You see that there's Meghan with her Cajuna hat.
When Sarah Ferguson opened her mouth this time, the royal world froze. What she said wasn't gossip.
When Sarah Ferguson spoke this time, the royal sphere didn't just pause, it froze altogether. What escaped her lips wasn't idle salon chatter over afternoon tea. It was pure dynamite, delivered with that trademark Fergie smirk, equal parts charm and menace. And the target? Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, once part of the monarchy, now famously walked away and seemingly unburdened. Until now. Because the past she thought she'd left behind has come roaring back. Because Fergie didn't hint. She didn't dance around. She allegedly uttered the phrase that would shake every corner of Buckingham Palace, blindsiding Prince Harry and leaving Meghan facing one of the most explosive allegations in modern royal history. According to witnesses, at a private Mayfair gathering, Ferguson dropped a line so seismic that even veteran royal correspondents had to blink. Meghan was Andrew's first client. Let that sink in. Not first friend, not first acquaintance, client. One word that carries implications so dark and loaded in just hours the phrase, Meghan's Yacht Days, was trending worldwide. Social media went feral. Tabloids scrambled. Royal watchers worked through the night, tracing timelines, connections, and whispers that had circulated for years but never made print. Because this wasn't coming from an anonymous leak or disgruntled insider. This came from Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, formerly married to Prince Andrew, someone who knows where half the royal skeletons are buried because she helped dig them. Behind closed palace doors, Harry was reportedly stunned. The aides went into full damage control mode. The firm's legendary iron wall of silence, the one they built over centuries, began showing signs of cracking. All of a sudden, every whisper in Windsor heard the same question. What the heck did Fergie mean by first client? Why now after all these years? And what secret did Meghan have lurking in the shadows of Andrew's world? Because here's what makes this moment explosive. This isn't just another tabloid fantasy. This is a credible voice inside the royal machine suggesting that Meghan's link to the family went deeper than anyone realized. That before the blind date, before the whirlwind romance, before the fairy tale wedding watched around the globe, there was a chapter they thought long buried. A darker chapter. One involving luxury yachts, elite gatherings, and a prince whose name has become synonymous with scandal and disgrace. This story isn't just another slice of royal drama. It threatens to reopen the monarchy's deepest wounds, to expose the secrets the firm thought safely tucked away, and possibly to destroy what remains of Meghan and Harry's credibility. And as more voices rise, as more puzzle pieces trickle out, one question hovers in every whisper down those royal corridors. Did Fergie accidentally spill the truth? Or did she intentionally drop the match that could burn everything down? Because what happened next? Nobody, and I mean nobody, was ready. It began like a regular weekend in the royal circuit. Discreet charity lunches, polite pleasantries, familiar faces air-kissing over champagne. But beneath that polished surface, something was brewing. The unguarded Fergie moment had already made its way into a few well-connected inboxes before the public even caught a hint. At first, it seemed unbelievable. After all, Fergie has weathered tabloid storms longer than almost anyone. She knows better than most how one stray word can unleash an inferno. She's been publicly humiliated, exiled by the family, only to claw her way back again. She got the game. And yet this time she didn't seem to care about the consequences. This time she was done playing nice. She wanted to be heard. At a private Mayfair gathering surrounded by a curated mix of old aristocrats and curious journalists, the moment allegedly came. People forget, she said, that knowing grin on her lips. Meghan's first royal connection wasn't Harry. The room went still. You could nearly hear the bubble pop in someone's champagne glass. Somebody chuckled nervously, assuming. It was a familiar Fergie joke, one of her famous attention grabs with an unmistakable wink. But then the laughter died. Her eyes said, "I'm not joking." Those words rippled faster than champagne poured. Within minutes, not hours, the phrase, "Andrew's first client," started circulating. Private group chats among reporters lit up. Within 3 hours, it was in newsroom drafts, and by midnight, it was trending across Twitter feeds and headlines in multiple countries. Harry, according to insiders, didn't want to believe it. He'd lived with rumors his entire royal life, whispers that follow anyone connected to this family. But this was different. This wasn't some random internet troll or flimsy insider. This was someone inside the firm, someone who knew Andrew intimately, someone credible. Suddenly, what had once been brush-offs had morphed into a full-blown credibility crisis. By midnight, royal correspondents were digging through old files, tracing Meghan's pre-royal years, linking her early Hollywood days to Andrew's luxury yacht gatherings, the same events long whispered about, never fully exposed. The palace's PR machine scrambled into action, issuing strategic no-comment stances while reporters sharpened their leads. But behind the lavish facade of the throne, behind the gilded corridors where history is made and reputations destroyed, a deeper fear began to take hold. Was Ferguson exposing a secret the firm thought they'd buried? Or was this something far more personal? Revenge? Because if it was revenge, if Fergie was finally settling scores after decades of being treated as an outsider, then this bombshell was just a beginning. And no one was prepared for what might follow. Long before the royal tiaras, before global interview bombs and the Montecito mansion, Meghan Markle's world was defined by constant ambition, strategic socializing, and relentless reinvention. Hollywood doesn't reward hopefuls gently. It chews them up, spits them out. Meghan knew this all too well. Between small TV roles, red carpet appearances, charity events, and networking parties, she built her image brick by brick, always poised, always positioned, always ready. Friends from her early career remember her grace and precision with admiration and unease. The way she'd walk into a room full of producers, agents, and power players and leave it with more connections than any of them realized. She moved effortlessly between social circles, B-list actors, business magnates, royal-adjacent elites, and the types who circulated at luxury events overseas, and among those gatherings, the elite yacht parties. These weren't wild tabloid bashes. They were elegant floating escapes where introductions were made, deals were quietly brokered, and sometimes reputations built or destroyed over a single weekend. These weren't innocent networking events. Everything carried currency. Everyone had an agenda. The currency wasn't always money. For years, rumors circulated that Meghan attended a few such gatherings while building her brand, seeking exposure among global elites. No smoking gun, no courtroom-ready evidence, just fragments, glances mentioned by those present, unnamed sources speaking off record, suggestive photographs resurfacing years later and analyzed thread by thread online. And it's precisely this fog of half-truths and plausible deniability that gave Ferguson's words their lethal potency. By linking Meghan's yacht days to Andrew's world, Fergie didn't simply drop gossip. She rewrote Meghan's entire pre-royal narrative in the public imagination. She connected scattered dots and created a storyline that couldn't easily be ignored. For the tabloids, it was irresistible. The actress who conquered Hollywood, then charmed a prince and infiltrated the world's most famous family, now possibly tied to its most disgraceful figure? The woman who positioned herself as feminist, activist, and champion of women's rights, potentially entangled in circles where women were viewed as commodities? The contrast was too delicious, too scandalous, too profitable to resist. And whether true or not, the story had power. Because in the royal world, perception often trumps proof. Reputations are built on image, and once that image cracks, the damage spreads faster than any press team can contain. Fergie knew that intimately. She lived through that cycle. And now she was using that knowledge as a weapon, targeting the woman who seemingly got the fairy tale Fergie herself never received. To truly understand the explosive nature of Ferguson's alleged comment, you must grasp the toxic shadow of Prince Andrew. A man once celebrated, young, dashing, the Queen's favorite son, but whose name now evokes scandal, disgrace, and everything the monarchy wants to forget. For decades, Andrew moved through the world with unchecked privilege, lavish vacations, exclusive yacht parties in the Mediterranean, status and access without boundaries. The kind of royal excess that made headlines, off the record, and on. Those who knew him said he was addicted not just to luxury, but to the attention and power that came with it. Surrounded by enablers, insulated by palace walls, he lived with impunity. Then the illusion shattered. His ties to extremist wealthy figures, his disastrous interview, the relentless media scrutiny, all combined into a public crisis. The palace tried to pretend he didn't exist. They stripped him of titles, duties, visibility. Their strategy: ignore, isolate, hope the world forgets. Which is why this alleged link to Meghan is so dangerous. Tying her to Andrew wasn't just a personal jab. It was a nuclear strike on multiple fronts. It linked the Duchess of Sussex, already polarizing, to the monarchy's darkest scandal. It suggested her path to Harry wasn't the innocent fairy tale we were told, but something more calculated, more disturbing. And for the firm, this is the nightmare scenario. Two of the most controversial figures in the modern monarchy, Andrew and Meghan, now entangled in a single narrative that threatens to expose what they've spent years burying. While Andrew remains the silent, sidelined figure, Fergie's words thrust his shadow back into the spotlight, directly across Meghan's image, because whenever Andrew's name appears, silence is no longer safe. His scandal is too big, too recent, too volatile. And now, whether Meghan likes it or not, her name is forever linked to his in the public's imagination. The damage, perception or truth, was done. Now it's a matter of how deep the fissures go. When Sarah Ferguson speaks, the world usually listens with curiosity and a slight smile, because she's entertaining. Unpredictable, the royal wildcard who somehow always survives. But this time her words didn't spark laughs. They landed like lightning strike, igniting a fire that spread uncontrollably. At a supposedly off-the-record soiree in London, Fergie allegedly leaned in, surrounded by familiar elites, and with that glint in her eye, quietly said, "Let's just say Meghan was Andrew's first client." Casual tone, mischievous tone, the kind of line one might drop at a privileged party for shock value. But everyone in that room felt the atmosphere shift. Those two words, first client, hung between them like poison gas. And no one quite knew how to respond. Within hours, the supposed comment was leaked. From someone in that room, someone bored of secrecy, someone hungry for the headlines. By next morning, journalists were circling like sharks sensing blood, dissecting every angle, debating every interpretation. Did Ferguson mean client as metaphor? A wry comment on Meghan's calculated social climb? Or was she hinting at something literal? Something far darker lurking in Andrew's controversial world? The ambiguity was perfect. It allowed everyone to hear what they feared, believe what they wanted, while Fergie kept her plausible deniability intact. Fergie did not confirm or deny. Instead, she closed ranks behind her familiar blend of charm and evasiveness, the subtle smile when a reporter asked the question, knowing she was done playing the game like she used to. She didn't apologize, didn't clarify, just that enigmatic look that suggests she knows more than she's saying. Palace insiders were reportedly furious. Emergency meetings, damage control strategy sessions, courtiers scrambling behind the scenes. Some whispered that Fergie had broken the unspoken code of the royal family, even after divorce. Others speculated she'd been set up, manipulated into making the comment by agendas inside or outside the family. Whatever the truth, one thing united them: fear. Deep fear that another royal scandal, this time involving Meghan and Andrew, could irrevocably damage the institution. The monarchy survives on control, image, narrative, legacy. But this time the image cracked, the control slipped, and the narrative jagged away. And when it seemed the storm was about to pass, Meghan's silence only amplified the fear. Each hour without a denial looked like guilt. Each hour without legal action looked like admission. The narrative hardened into accepted truth, and nobody seemed able to damp it. As days turned into weeks, the question shifted. No longer, is it true? But what are they hiding? And for the monarchy, that question is more dangerous than any single accusation. So here we are, in the aftermath of a royal scandal that may never be fully resolved. The dust hasn't settled because new winds keep stirring it up. Sarah Ferguson's alleged bombshell changed everything: the conversation, the players, the stakes. What began as a private remark now looms as a full-blown crisis of loyalty, image, credibility, and power. The meticulously constructed narrative of Meghan and Harry's relationship, already under strain from years of controversy and revelations, now carries the weight of questions that may never find answers. Because if one word from Fergie can cause this much havoc, what other secrets might be ready to surface? And how far is she willing to go?